The dust between stars, you wake not to the crow of a rooster or the clang of a factory bell, but to the low groan of saddle leather and the distant snort of a restless steer. The sky is still bruised with night, but the eastern rim of the world is softening like a coal beginning to glow. You're lying on your side, one arm tucked beneath your cheek, the other curled around your rolled-up coat. Your boots are off-placed neatly side by side, and your colt rests just beneath your pillow, its weight familiar as your own heartbeat. This is the third week of the drive. You're pushing 1-800 head of Texas Longhorns from the Rio Grande up toward Dodge City, not Abilene. Abilene's gone soft, they say, overrun with railmen and gamblers who but never felt the sting of a lasso burn or the ache of a night spent in wet wool. Dodge still smells like cattle and courage. Your name isn't important. Out here you left flank or night rider or the one who sings off key. Names fade faster than boot soles on the trail, but your hands remember everything: the rope's bite, the chill of a rifle barrel at dawn, the way your horse shifts his weight when he senses danger before you do. Cookie's fire crackles to life. The man's got a face like dried beef and a temper to match, but his coffee could wake the dead. You sit up slowly, every vertebra protesting. Your back feels like it's been used as an anvil. You run a hand over your stubbled jaw, then reach for your boots, giving them the ritual shake. A scorpion once crawled into your brother's boot back in '69. He lost 2 toes and never rode point again. The camp stirs like a beast waking from hibernation. Men rise like ghosts from the dust, Mexican vaqueros with serapes draped over their shoulders. Black cowboys who left Reconstruction behind for the open range, boys barely 16, with eyes too old for their faces. No one speaks much. Words are heavy things out here, better saved for songs or emergencies. You join the line at the chuck wagon. Cookie slaps a tin plate into your palm beans, salt pork, and a biscuit hard enough to stop a bullet. You don't complain. Hot food is grace on the trail. You take your cup of coffee, black as sin and twice as strong, and walk to the edge of camp, where the prairie stretches out like an unrolled map of God's own making. The herd is already shifting in the gray light, their horns catching the first silver of dawn like ancient weapons. These longhorns aren't cattle, they're survivors. Lean, mean, and half-wild, with eyes that hold the memory of Comanche hunts and drought. You respect them, fear them, too. One wrong move, one spooked yearling, and the whole mass can turn into a thundering wall of bone and muscle. Mount up, the trail boss barks. His name is Harlan. He's got a mustache that's seen more dust than water, and a voice that cuts through wind like a knife. You swing into the saddle without a word. Your horse, a bay gelding named Smoke, nudges your leg like he's asking, "Again?" You pat his neck. "Just one more river, old friend. Today you're on drag. The worst position. You'll ride at the rear of the herd, choking on dust, kicked up by 2,000 hooves, eyes stinging, throat raw. Drag riders are the forgotten men of the drive last to eat, first to get lamed if a steer goes missing. But someone's got to do it, and you've done worse. The drive begins. The earth trembles, not from earthquake, but from life. Hooves drumming, horns clacking, low moans of cattle shifting weight. You fall into the rhythm. Nudge left, hold steady, cut off that red heifer trying to double back. Your body moves without thought. Years in the saddle have turned instinct into muscle. By noon, the sun is a white-hot coin in a sky with no mercy. You sip from your canteen, just enough to wet your tongue. Water's too precious to waste. A buzzard circles overhead, patient. He knows the trail claims its due. Last year, a kid from Tennessee got thrown near the Pecos. Broke his leg. They carried him 2 days before fever took him. Buried him under a mesquite with nothing but his name carved into a plank. You don't think about that now. You think about the creek up ahead, about the way the grass thickens near water, about whether Cookie might have saved a strip of jerky for second watch. As dusk bleeds into the land, the trail boss calls for bed ground near a dry, wash-decent grass. High ground on the west to block wind. You help bed the herd, riding slow circles, humming an old tune your mother used to sing. The cattle settle like old men after supper grumbling, then still. Night watch is yours. 3rd shift. You sleep fitfully, boots on, coat ready. At 2 in the morning, a hand shakes your shoulder. All's quiet, whispers Reyes, one of the vaqueros. But Coyote's been yipping close. You nod, pull on your hat, and saddle smoke in the dark. The night is cold enough to crack bone. Stars hang so low you could lasso one if you had the nerve. You ride the perimeter, eyes scanning, ears open. The prairie at night isn't empty, it's full of whispers, the rustle of jackrabbits, the sigh of wind through bluestem, the deep, rhythmic breath of 2,000 cattle dreaming of green pastures. Halfway through your watch, you see it a flicker of movement beyond the herd. Not coyote, too big, horse, man? You don't draw your coat. Not yet. A shot could stampede the whole drive. Instead, you signal Reyes with a low whistle. He circles wide. You hold your ground. Minutes pass. The shape doesn't move again. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe it was everything. Out here, hope and danger wear the same shadow. By dawn, the threat, if there was one, has vanished. The herd is calm. The sky blushes pink. You ride in, stiff and hollow-eyed, just as Cookie pours the first pot of coffee. 3 days later, you cross the Arkansas's river. The water's high from spring runoff. Smoke fights the current, muscles straining beneath you. Halfway across, a steer panics, turns sideways, and blocks the flow. Chaos erupts. Cowboys shout. Horses plunge. You see young Billy get swept under only to surface gasping, clinging to a rope tossed by Diego. Miraculously, no one dies. Only 3 head lost. Harlan calls it a clean crossing. That night, Cookie serves beef stew, real beef, not salted mystery meat. A celebration. Men laugh louder than usual. Someone pulls out a harmonica. You sit apart, mending a torn saddle strap, but you listen. The music wraps around the fire like smoke. A week after that, Dodge City rises on the horizon, not with towers or grandeur, but with smoke and rail lines and the sharp tang of coal and cattle. The stockyards loom like cathedrals built for beasts. You guide the herd through the gates, your heart heavy and light at once. The job is done. The money, $32, and a bonus for drag work feels thin in your palm, but it's yours. In town, you bathe, you shave. You buy a new bandana and a letter paper. You write home just 2 lines. Made it safe. All cattle delivered. Send word if the orchard bloomed. You don't stay long. Dodge is loud, bright, and full of men pretending to be something they're not. You prefer the truth of the trail, the way the wind tells you what's coming, how your horse knows your mood before you do, how silence can be a companion instead of a void. Before dawn on your third morning in town, you saddle Smoke and ride west, not toward another drive, but toward rumor. They say there's open range in Montana, few fences, fewer rules. A man can still disappear into the land and find himself there. As the sun lifts over the plains behind you, you don't look back. The dust rises in your wake, then settles. The stars fade, and the trail, endless, honest, unforgiving, opens before you once more. Because a cowboy isn't a man who rides a horse. He's a man who chooses the horizon again and again, even when it offers nothing but wind and work and wonder. And that's enough.